This
today.
conference will now be recorded.
I have, hello everybody. I'm really happy to be here with you today. I've got Mayor Pro Tem Seitz and Westminster City Councilor David DeMott. They're going to speak here in just a couple of minutes, but I want to just create some context for you here. We're doing some blogs on our website to let you know that the city councilors are really deeply engaged in the COVID-19 issue in our city. I work for the 7 of them, and it's my job to run the city, but it's really their job to set policy and to govern our community. And so between us, we work back and forth to make sure that you're aware of what the city is doing, and that my staff is aware of the priorities of the city through the eyes of the city council. So I really appreciate Anita and David, you being here with us today. This has been, quite a couple of weeks. I just want to, as you know, to share with the community how proud I am and how confident I am in the work of the City of Westminster employees at this point. I can absolutely guarantee you that the services that you rely on, from your drinking water to EMS and your police department, our streets, and whether those streets get plowed and the potholes get filled and things get done that need to get done, those services are going to continue to happen without break. We are planning for worst case scenarios in terms of the COVID-19 affecting our workforce, and we're ready to respond to that. We're not anywhere near that today, and so we're happy about that. But we know that there's going to be additional infection in our community, and the virus will have greater impact. But I'm really confident in that. As we talk about it, I'm going to start with Mayor Pro Tem Seitz, and I think she'll attest that one of the great things about this region is that we have really extraordinary cooperation between state government, county government, and local government through our cities. It's pretty remarkable. Anita, if you wouldn't mind maybe just speaking to the communication that you see happening within the city, and then our interactions with those regional entities, and your level of comfort as a lawmaker here in our city of having the information you need to make decisions.
Yeah, so thanks, Don. I'm happy to do that. And similarly to you, I'm just really, I'm impressed with the staff at Westminster, with all of my colleagues on council, and with the regional leadership that I have seen as we all try to put our best foot forward to make sure we make this community safe for our residents, and that we have continuity of services. So there's multiple working groups that are connecting via web conferences and conference calls every single day. So we're in regular communication just internally with cross-functioning teams of staff here within Westminster. And then members of our leadership team are participating in conference calls with our partners in both the counties, the hospitals, the city, neighboring cities, the state. And so we then, as council, get updates on this information received with, we receive it every single day. I believe it's at 6 o'clock. Is that correct, Councilor DeMott?
Yep.
Yep, every single day. And so that's shared with city council and city leadership. And I should have mentioned that our mayor and city staff are always present in these conversations, making sure the interests of Westminster are shared, but also that we're learning from our partners. So they're very collaborative.
Well, terrific. Councilor DeMott, one of the things that I think is confusing for people are all these units of government. I'll just summarize by saying there's the World Health Organization who for all of us in the world, look at these issues hopefully enough ahead of time that we can be prepared to deal with them. But then you get to a state level, we've got the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment that provides advice to us. In our local community, we're split into 2 counties, Jefferson County and Adams County. And we have 2 health agencies, the Tri-County Health on the Adams side and the Jefferson County Health on the Jeffco side. But if you wouldn't mind talking about the differences between what the city does and how the county interacts with us during a time like this.
Sure. Thanks, Don. So as people may or may not know, in Colorado, public health and human service functions at a county level, like Don was alluding to. And so for Westminster, that's between Adams and Jefferson County. And basically that dividing line is whether you live on the west of Sheridan or the east of Sheridan, whether you're in Jeffco or Adams. So Jefferson County has both public and human services, and Adams County has a human service department and participate in the Tri-County Health Department, which serves Adams, Arapahoe, Douglas, and Douglas counties. So public health news alerts and information specific to each county can be found on their public websites. This includes information about the COVID-19 testing results specific to each county. Counties are staffed and resourced to provide human services at that county level in Colorado. These services include programs and services for aging adults, services to promote the safety and well-being of children and families, disability services, employment services, financial assistance, and food and housing assistance, and much more. So I really encourage you as we go through this time to look at those different resources, because I know many of us are going to be utilizing those resources as we go through this as the community together. Oh, I think maybe you're on mute, Don.
Did we lose Don?
No, there he is.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilor DeMott. I'll start again. Thank you for your comments on the county side. You know, we are in 2 counties, and that's important. And they provide really like boots on the ground, direct advisements to us in our counties. But at a statewide level, we have the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. And, you know, you hear different people come on the multimedia outlets. Our governor had a press conference yesterday. If you wouldn't mind, Mayor Pro Tem Seitz, talk about the Colorado Department of Public Health and the role that they provide in this and the advice they provide to us as a city.
Right. So the Colorado Department of Public Health and the Environment is one of the absolute best resources for Colorado-specific COVID-19 information. So they've recently launched a new website. It's called covid19.colorado.gov, and anyone can go to it and you can see data, resources, and you can view all of the different public health orders that have come through. So the state makes these public health recommendations. They issue advisories, they do executive orders and public health orders. So recently, some of the public health orders we've seen have been, you know, the closing of restaurants and bars and gyms and theaters and casinos in our state. Please remember that we do still have delivery and takeout, and please support your local businesses. I think this is really going to be a time where we as a community need to step up and help some of those local businesses that are affected. But those are examples of the public health orders. And if you're confused about any of those, please access the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment's website. They list them all. They also give you lots of data about where the virus is, where it's been tested positive on a countywide basis.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I think for both of you, I'm going to maybe make a little change to the way we address this next item, because I think we've covered some of it. I think the public is interested in how they can interact with this. If they've got questions about the COVID-19 and about our response, or they're hearing things that are happening nationwide or in other regions of the country and want to know how our city's reacting to those things and what we're doing, how would you suggest they provide that input to you as a counselor?
Councilor DeMott, do you want to start, or would you rather I do?
You know, I would say there's a multitude ways of contacting us. So all of us have our contact information on the cityofwestminster.us website. And I'm pretty sure I can confidently say any of us are open to you calling or emailing us anytime you want. The city itself has different avenues such as Westy Connect that you also can report various issues. But you know, we're available to you. And if anytime you want to reach out to us, I would say that you should do that for certain.
This is Anita, and I would agree with Councilor DeMott. On a local level, every single one of the members of council are available and accessible to you. And then in addition to that, if you have a question that is state or county specific, we can refer you to the proper channel. So please feel free to reach out to us. I also think, kind of to your larger question, Don, which was what can residents do right now? I've talked to a lot of people who feel powerless, but I really disagree with that sentiment. I think all of us have a lot of power in how this unfolds. And I think we have the power to stay home when possible, and to socially, to really honor social distancing. I think it's been floating around on social media. I'm sure you've seen it too, Councilor DeMott and Don. to kind of flip the script in your head and no longer worry about, am I going to contract this, but consider that you've already contracted COVID and want to prevent infecting others. And I think that really switches behavior and it switches mentality and really helps us do the right thing.
I would agree. This is a ongoing conversation about the lines of government when we're trying to figure out how we control something, like COVID-19 in a free society. And I think that people need to remember, yeah, free society is dangerous, but also I think one of the things that makes our system work is personal accountability. And so to Mayor Pro Tem Seitz' point, I think taking that personal accountability to not take risks that could risk somebody else that's not just you is vitally important. And realizing, your rights could end where you're putting somebody else at risk. So yes, I think we all stand true that this is a free nation and we want it to stay that way. But think about the personal accountability that you can exercise with social distancing.
Great, those are all really, really good points. Is there anything that either of you or both of you would like to add about City of Westminster services and things you're aware of that are happening within our police, fire, and water utility department and other parts of our operations? Maybe give people an update on any of those areas.
Thank you for that question. And I think it's really important. If we left with people just absorbing one thing, it's like right now our primary focus is the health and safety of our community. And we're doing that through the continuation of our essential services. So that's our police, our fire, our EMS, safe drinking water. And so I really have to applaud all of the thought and effort that is going into making sure we have the processes, procedures in place to make sure that into the future we will be able to provide that to residents.
And I would follow up on that. We have very qualified men and women in our police and fire and EMS in the city, as well as all our other core services that we provide. And I'd ask you back to the point of a personal accountability, help them do their job by not making it harder, by making unnecessary risks where you can. I think that that's really important because those men and women, they don't get to stay home. They have to go out and they have to serve our community to make sure that we all stay safe. So I would add that to the conversation as well.
Well, thanks to both of you. These were great messages. I would tell you, those of you that are watching this, the City of Westminster is not closed. We're open to the public. We have some buildings that are closed because we want to comply with the recommendations that have been made to try to flatten the curve on the proliferation of this virus. So City Hall is not open. Our libraries aren't open. Our rec centers aren't open, but our parks and open spaces are available for people to use. And if you call any of our phone numbers, we'll answer the phone and we'll give you advice and direction. You can also access us at accesswestminster.com. If you've got a question, that website's looked at every day, and we'll get back to you and provide an answer. But if your question is more immediate and you've got a really urgent issue you're concerned about, call 911. I think sometimes people think that 911 is just for emergency sort of issues that are car accidents and things that happen. But if you see something happening in your community and you're not aware of it, there's also a non-emergency number at the police department that you can call. So I would just invite you to not worry and to call and to talk to us and to send us emails. Contact your council members. When they get an email from you, I can tell you there's not hardly ever 5 minutes that goes by that I don't get the email. And they're very responsive, and I'm amazed many times, folks, with the time and effort these folks put in, and you'll hear from us. But I want you to know when it comes to water and police and fire and emergency medical services and getting the streets plowed and the potholes filled and having our city continue to be a city that has a great continuity of service, that's going to happen. And if it's not happening, you call us and we'll check into it immediately. So Mayor Pro Tem and Councilor DeMott, anything else you'd like to add before we close?
I guess I would just say that my optimistic thinking is that this will be a time that our community grows stronger. And I guess ironically, through social distancing, through focusing on the we instead of the me, Westminster will come out of this with an increased sense of togetherness, community, and purpose.
I would agree. One of the we always have as politicians cheesy catch lines, I guess, as far as when we run. And mine was together we make Westminster. And I think the point I would bring that up for is together we will get through it as Westminster residents. And beyond that, I would just say stay safe and God bless, and you know, pray and be there for each other as we go through this.
Good. Thank you. We got
Thanks.
this. Okay.
All
Take
right.
care.
Stay healthy.